We begin this hour with breaking news. A gun battle between Afghan security forces and Taliban fighters is ongoing at a hotel housing foreign military and civilian organisations. According to an Afghan security official, 4 heavily armed attackers stormed the North Gate Hotel. It happened after a truck bomb exploded in Kabul. The Taliban is also taking responsibility for that attack. Well, Mirwais Jalalzai is in Kabul covering the story. Mirwais, the details are sketchy at this stage. What are you hearing on the ground?
Thank you. Well, it was a suicide bomb attack on a North Gate hostel, which is mostly used by foreigners based in Kabul. As I talk with Mr. Siddiqui, the spokesman of the Ministry of Interior in Afghanistan, he told me that the gun battle ended only a few minutes back. The Afghan forces were capable to control the situation, but the blast was very huge, and when I was on the way to studio from my home where I'm leaving, there was a huge destruction in the area, and Siddiqui told me that the security personnel for this guest house are foreigners, mostly from Nepal. There might be some casualties among the foreign guards, but he didn't mention that how many soldiers or other local people have been killed in this suicide attack. And it was very huge, and the voice of the blast was heard even 4 kilometers away from the site.
Sounds incredibly frightening. Mirwais, obviously the Taliban has claimed responsibility for this attack, and just last week Daesh claimed responsibility for one of the deadliest attacks on Hazaras a week ago. Who is seen as the biggest threat in Afghanistan right now, Daesh or the Taliban?
Well, the Daesh and Taliban are working side by side in different parts of Afghanistan, but the Afghan government is not worried from the Taliban overall, because they have experience of fighting with Taliban for at least 10, 12 years, but the Afghan government is worried about the spreading of Daesh in some part of Afghanistan. This is why the President Ashraf Ghani ordered to the Afghan security forces to eliminate Daesh from eastern part of Afghanistan, where they have nets in the border with Pakistan. But in the same time, the Taliban is well at trade. Even the Afghan government is trying to talk with them, bring them to the peace, but the Taliban was able just yesterday, they take a huge district from the Afghan forces in Helmand province, and they move toward the Lashkargah city. Yeah, but the Taliban, it's a time for the harvest of poppy in Afghanistan, and this is why the Taliban increased their attacks, and they want to keep the government very busy, even in the Kabul, and they want to work with the farmers to collect the harvests and to take advantage from that and take the incomes.
Mirwais, if we look at places like Syria, we see terror groups like Al-Qaeda and the Al-Nusra Front actually fighting against Daesh. But you're saying there in Afghanistan that the Taliban are actually fighting with Daesh. Is that correct?
Well, before there was some clashes between some groups of Taliban and Daesh, but in recent 1 month we didn't see any clashes between Taliban and Daesh. But the Taliban are operating just in other side, and the Daesh are only concentrating on the east part of the country, where they have their safe havens, and they want to move from the east part of Afghanistan to the north and to the northern place toward China and Central Asia. But the Daesh is not that much strong in Afghanistan, and we cannot compare the Daesh here with the Daesh in Syria or in Iraq, because Daesh have only 1 or 2 districts in the east of the country in Nangarhar province, and one huge base of Daesh was eliminated by Afghan force the day before yesterday in Achin district of Nangarhar. But overall, still we cannot see any clashes between Daesh and Taliban, and also we didn't see any cooperation between Daesh and Taliban to fight against the Afghan government.
Mirwais Jalalzai in Kabul, thank you.